You don't have the time and you come in after a 12 to 14-hour day, and you're tired, you're cold, you're wet. More than a decade ago, Rick Lagina embarked on the adventure of a lifetime on Oak Island, but now it seems like that journey is finally coming to an end, not willingly, of course. After 12 seasons and an estimated $30 to $50 million spent in pursuit of answers, you would think the Lagina brothers would have hit the jackpot by now, but instead, they have hit a wall. Now, the rumor is it won't be long before the Curse of Oak Island wraps up for good. So what exactly is ending Rick Lagina's career? How did it come to this point? How did it all start? It's an excuse, but it is what it is. It's very difficult, Rick has said. I think what we should have done, we agree, we should have hired an archaeologist to understand what may have ended Rick Lagina's career. We first have to understand how it all began, what brought Rick to Oak Island, and what made him dedicate so much of his life to solving its mystery. The legend of Oak Island did not start with Rick or even in modern times. It dates back over 200 years, all the way to 1795, when a Canadian settler named Daniel McGinnis stumbled upon something curious on the island. According to the story, McGinnis was drawn to a peculiar depression in the ground, which some say hinted at something buried beneath. Rumor had it that a dying crew member of the infamous pirate Captain Kidd confessed to hiding a fortune there. Treasure hunters and history buffs alike have been hooked on this tale ever since. Some dismiss the legend as nothing more than a tall tale, a pirate's last hoax, or a story spun from thin air, but others firmly believe Oak Island is hiding unimaginable treasures, from pirate gold to religious relics. Naturally, this kind of mystery captures the imagination, and it certainly caught the attention of the Lagina brothers. Rick Lagina's fascination with Oak Island did not come out of nowhere. In fact, he can pinpoint the exact moment it began. As a young boy growing up in Kingsford, Michigan, Rick came across a 1965 Reader's Digest article that talked about the mystery of Oak Island. The article described the enigmatic money pit, the strange items discovered over the years, and the possibility of treasure buried deep below the surface. For young Rick, this was not just a cool story, it was a spark that ignited a lifelong obsession. At the time, Rick's dreams of treasure hunting were just that, dreams. He came from a hard-working, close-knit family. His father, George, and mother, Anne, raised Rick alongside his siblings, Marty and Martina, in a modest Midwestern household. Rick eventually took a steady, unremarkable job with the U.S. Postal Service. It was not exactly a path that felt adventurous or treasure hunter-like, but the dream of Oak Island never really left him. While Rick was busy delivering mail, his younger brother Marty was building a more lucrative career. Marty became an engineer, a successful entrepreneur, and even a winery owner. By the early 2000s, Marty had the financial means to take risks, and Rick saw an opportunity. In 2006, Rick convinced Marty to invest in Oak Island. Together, they purchased a 50% stake in Oak Island Tourism Corporation, a company that owned much of the island and profited from its growing tourism. The government of Nova Scotia has something called the Treasure Trove Act, which used to cover the whole province, but now only covers Oak Island. For Rick, this was the moment everything changed. His dream of searching for treasure on Oak Island was finally within reach. Marty was not as convinced. He was the pragmatic one, the skeptic. While Rick was captivated by the legend, Marty saw the venture as a risky business decision. But it did not take long for Rick to win him over. When they obtained a treasure hunting permit, they began unearthing intriguing artifacts and objects that suggested there might be more to the legend than just stories. Marty's doubts began to fade, and together, the brothers launched a treasure hunt that would capture the world's attention. Now the question is, what exactly is it about Oak Island that draws people in? Why did Rick and Marty, along with countless others, dedicate so much to solving its mystery? Well, Oak Island's allure is rooted in its possibilities. Legends suggest it could be hiding treasures from the Knights Templar, including the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant. Other theories propose that it holds Marie Antoinette's missing jewels or even Shakespeare's original manuscript. While skeptics question the plausibility of these claims, believers argue that the island's secrets are too intricate and too enduring to be mere coincidence. Adding to the mystique is the so-called Curse of Oak Island. According to legend, 7 people must die before the treasure can be found. Whether you believe in curses or not, it is worth noting that 6 treasure hunters have already lost their lives in the search. This has lent a chilling credibility to the story. For Rick Lagina, Oak Island was not just a potential treasure trove, it was a puzzle to be solved, a story waiting to be uncovered. And for someone who had spent decades dreaming of adventure, it was the perfect place to leave his mark. By 2014, Rick and Marty's efforts had caught the attention of the History Channel, leading to the creation of The Curse of Oak Island. The show documented their search, turning their private treasure hunt into a public spectacle. Audiences were hooked, tuning in week after week to see what new discoveries the Lagina brothers would uncover. Because of the show, the interest in people wanting to participate, the brothers were very grateful. The series included more than just treasure hunting. It showed the journey, the camaraderie, and the relentless pursuit of answers. While Rick often played the role of the passionate believer, Marty balanced things out with his level-headed skepticism. The dynamic between the two made for compelling television, and the show quickly became a hit. Over the years, The Curse of Oak Island uncovered plenty of intriguing finds. They found a centuries-old metal cross, fragments of human bone with Middle Eastern origins, and even pieces of gold. These discoveries kept fans invested, fueling endless speculation about what might still be buried beneath the island. While fans have been captivated by The Curse of Oak Island and the Lagina brothers' relentless search for buried treasure, Rick Lagina's personal life remains a bit of an enigma, much like the treasure itself. There are not many things known about Rick's life off-camera. Rick Lagina has mastered the art of keeping his personal life private. While he has spent over a decade in the public spotlight thanks to his treasure hunting exploits, he has shared next to nothing about his relationships, hobbies, or daily life. In an era where many public figures open up their lives on social media or in interviews, Rick has chosen to keep things quiet. One of the most common questions fans ask is Rick married? The answer, as far as anyone knows, is no. It is widely believed that Rick is unmarried and has no children, but he has never confirmed or denied this himself. Whether this is a deliberate effort to keep the focus on the treasure hunt or simply a reflection of his private nature, it adds more intrigue to his persona. Some might call his silence refreshing, especially in a world where oversharing has become the norm. Others find it frustrating, wondering why someone with such a fascinating story would not let fans in on more of his life. Either way, one thing we are sure of is that Rick values his privacy above all else, and that's something to respect. On the island, there's more than meets the eye. The legend of the island curse, that 7 people must die before the treasure is revealed, is something Rick takes seriously, even if he does not talk about it much. 6 lives have already been lost over the years, and while Rick approaches the search with caution and respect, the weight of that history is not lost on him. To Rick, the island's mysteries go beyond what's buried underground. There's an energy, an aura, that he has felt firsthand, as he talked about in his 2015 interview with My North. Whether it is superstition, paranormal activity, or simply the power of a good story, Rick believes there's more to Oak Island than meets the eye. But Marty is not like him. While Marty is often seen as the more skeptical, business-minded brother, Rick is the dreamer, the believer. This dynamic has been one of the driving forces behind their success. Marty's financial contributions and practical approach have allowed Rick to focus on the treasure hunt without worrying about logistics or funding. But it is Rick's passion and unwavering belief that has kept the search alive through setbacks and challenges. Despite their differences, the brothers share a deep respect for each other's perspectives. Marty might be more grounded in facts and figures, but he trusts Rick's instincts when it comes to the island. Similarly, Rick values Marty's ability to bring structure and resources to their efforts. Together, they have created a balance that has allowed them to pursue a mission that might have seemed impossible otherwise. But this does not mean that it is an endless mission. Rick believes in the unknown, but that does not mean he is naive or overly superstitious. In fact, he is incredibly pragmatic about the treasure hunt itself. He knows that finding the treasure is not guaranteed, and he is prepared for the possibility that they may never uncover it. That said, Rick's passion lies in the journey, not just the outcome. For him, every artifact and every clue is a piece of the island's history waiting to be pieced together. Even if the treasure remains hidden, Rick sees value in what they have learned and discovered along the way. Interestingly, Rick has also said that he knows when it will be time to walk away. He is not the type to keep digging aimlessly just for the sake of it. If the search reaches a point where no real progress is being made, Rick is ready to step back. He has said that he will not keep going for his ego or out of stubbornness. He respects the island, the history, and the efforts of those who came before him. If and when the day comes to pass the torch to future treasure hunters, Rick will do so with the knowledge that he gave it everything he had. So, is it going to happen? Is this show coming to an end? How is he ending his own career? Look, we want to dig up the entire swamp because we don't have a hard target. That's the problem. That's the core issue. We don't have a hard target. Rick's passion for Oak Island is undeniable. From the moment he read about the island in Reader's Digest as a child, he has been consumed by its mystery. That kind of dedication is admirable, but it also has its downsides. Over the years, Rick's belief in the legend of Oak Island has morphed into something more intense. Some might even say obsessive. He is so emotionally invested in the search that walking away, even if it's the logical choice, seems almost impossible for him. This attachment might be what keeps the show alive, but could also be what brings it to a close. Because sometimes you push so hard for so long that eventually your body and your mind just say, enough. That's where Rick is now. After over a decade of searching, he is physically and mentally exhausted. He is no longer the man who first stepped onto the island with wide eyes and a full heart. The years have worn him down. The harsh weather, the demanding schedule, and the weight of expectations have taken a toll. And the real problem, they still haven't found it. Despite all the effort, time, and money, the big treasure remains elusive. The emotional and physical cost is starting to outweigh the hope. Rick has never said this outright, but it's written all over his face in the latest episodes. You can see in the way he speaks, the way he moves, the way he pauses just a little longer now when he looks at the island. He's tired. Tired of the grind, tired of the waiting, tired of the disappointment. And that is how Rick Lagina's career is ending. Not in a blaze of glory, not with the discovery of the Holy Grail, but with quiet exhaustion. It's not the ending anyone hoped for, especially not Rick. But maybe, just maybe, it's the ending that makes the most sense. Because at the heart of it, the Curse of Oak Island was never really about the treasure. It was about the search, the belief, the brotherhood, the mystery. And in that sense, maybe Rick did find what he was looking for after all.